Oh, besties, welcome to MarTEAnis with Eddy, your ultimate destination for everything Bravo. Join me as we spill the tea, dissect the drama, and uncork the juiciest gossip from your favorite reality TV shows. Oh my gosh, my voice was just sounding really scratchy right there. Well, I just want to say that MarTEAnis with Eddy has been one of the most amazing rides and adventures that I have taken ever. Like it became so much from so little, and this is all because of you guys. And today's episode marks the season finale of my first season of Martini with Eddie, the podcast. And I don't know if you guys know, but the story behind Martini with Eddie comes from simply just me being a nosy bitch and a very opinionated gay who likes to give his opinions on reality TV shows and especially Bravo shows. And after BravoCon, Martini with Eddie, the podcast was born. And as you guys know, next week on Wednesday, I'll be flying to Vegas to get ready for BravoCon. It's going to be a weekend of a lot of Bravo content, a lot of meet and greets and opportunities and fun and parties and everything in between. So I'm really excited. So I decided that this should be the perfect way to mark, closing season one, go to BravoCon, uh, absorb everything, and come back on season two with all the tea from BravoCon. I think that I have accomplished many things with Martini with Eddie, the podcast, that I didn't think I was going to be able to do. I mean, let's start with saying that I got to interview so many people on the Bravo universe that I can currently say like I am very close to, like Jennifer Aiden, Sam from Summer House, Lucia from um, Southern Hospitality, Bali, my Bali, who I love to death from Family Karma. Which, by the way, justice for Family Karma. I want that show back. We need Family Karma. Come on, Bravo, give us another season of that amazing show. It's time to announce a new Family Karma season. Like, what's happening, Bravo? We need it, please. Um, I got to interview John Barlow from Salt Lake City, um, Aja from Real Girlfriend of Paris. So, I mean, the experience of building this platform in a year, in less than a year, became something bigger than what I ever expected it to be. Obviously, my source of inspiration, uh, are always my Bravo content creator fellow colleagues in this Bravo crazy world, like Ryan Bailey, Brad Bros, Jenny Blaze. The list is like really long, like it's too long. Andy from Beverly Hills, Candy Kane, who I love. Um, yeah, I mean, too many to even count. Bravo, Bravo, fucking Bravo, Bravo breaking news. I mean, it's the bottom, the Bravo bottoms. I mean, I love all my fellow content creators. I don't have a beef with anyone when it comes to Bravo content creators because all of them in some kind of way inspire me. Zach from Unfiltered with Zach Peter, like come on, like people thought that we will never be friends, and like here we are. Like I love that guy, up and at him and everything. So what I'm saying is like one thing I learned by creating this podcast is like even though we might have different takes and opinions, and will definitely go hard on those opinions, if we separate that part and we focus on how we inspire one another, that's what make this Bravo universe such an amazing place. Toxic at times, I'm not gonna lie, is can be a little toxic, especially non faceless trolls on like Twitter. They come for you for no fucking reason. But that's part of the game. And if you're not paying my bills, your opinion means nothing, to be honest. If you are not paying my bills, your opinion means nothing. But um I wanted to kind of like, mention a couple of moments that just like are top-notch moments. For example, the moment that Teresa Giudice called in as I'm talking to Jennifer Aiden on that episode that became extremely controversial, that I was asked to take it down. Then Jennifer Aiden fought for it, and I was able to keep my podcast back on. That to me meant so much because Jennifer didn't have to do that, and she went to an extent that nobody has to make sure that my podcast was able to keep that episode up. Um, Also having Sam from Summer House, to me was amazing because she was one of those cast members who always was very responsive on social media. We became really good friends, like over DMs. Um, so when I got to interview her on my podcast, it felt like I was just connecting with a really, really good friend. And that was, once again, one of those feelings that only by creating this platform was possible. And I mean, I'm gonna be working really hard during BravoCon in Vegas, so I make sure the BravoCon, it's like not just my experience, but I want you guys to feel like you are there. So I want to invite you to obviously follow me on Twitter and Instagram, where I'm going to do live from the panels, where I'm gonna be recording like clips to post on my social medias. I'm gonna try my best to capture as much as I can, or interview as many Bravo Labs as I can to bring it here on my podcast. The audio clips. I'm planning a huge season 2, episode 1 of MarTEAnis with Eddy, and it's going to be everything about BravoCon in Las Vegas, Nevada. Um, Obviously, I also want season 2 to be bigger and better than season 1. Season 2 has big shoes to fill, to be honest. Well, none of this would have been possible with the help of every single person who had listened to my podcast, who followed me on Twitter, who likes my comments, who those who don't like it too, because you still help my algorithm and the traffic to my social media. So you can keep hating. I'm gonna keep winning. Um, Also, I want to thank um, those people who push me to stay consistent, like people who might not be Bravo holics, but also just friends and family who saw the potential that this platform has, and that I should stick to it no matter what, no matter how many people are listening. If one person is listening to my nonsense, then it's a win. If one person is tuning in on my podcast every week, it's a win. So I appreciate every single one of you, and honestly, I cannot wait for season 2 because it's going to be bigger and better. It's going to be a rebrand. It's going to be more and more, and it's going to start with BravoCon next week. So if you're listening to this right now, I just want to let you know that next week I'm not going to be recording any episode, and I'll be back the following week, um, either Thursday or Friday, where I'm going to have my BravoCon special. But tonight we have shows to recap. We have shows to talk about. We have a Winter House season 3 premiere, and we also have a season 13 of Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills. Oh my gosh, I love that show. I mean, if you guys know me, you guys know that Beverly Hills is like my core franchise. That's the franchise that I know like the back of my hand. Like I know everything that's happening. That one in New Jersey. which, by the way, you are going to be shocked with season 14 of New Jersey. All the tea that I heard, all the stuff that I know that I'm not going to be able to share with you guys, because one thing is that I keep my sources to myself until it's the time to share the information. Because there's no point to like be talking and blabbing if, you know, if you're gonna ruin it for everybody. I also believe that there has to be some level of secrecy for a franchise to be successful, right? So all I'm gonna say, the season 14 on New Jersey is going to be crazy because the shift of friendships, the season finale completely changed because a house burned down, and they changed the plan. So I'm telling you, when I say Jersey is like heading towards like a new era, I'm not exaggerating. It's going to be dramatic. Friendships are gonna be formed. All friendships are gonna be destroyed. Um, you're gonna be surprised who really is not having a good season this time around. And it's not Teresa Judas like most people were trying to or making you all believe. Actually, Teresa is having a great season, believe it or not. Teresa is definitely going to give them what they deserve. I'm gonna just put it that way. Oh, but okay, let's talk about Winter House because Winter House started with a new set of housemates. We have people from Summer House like Danielle. We have Kyle. We have Kyle. We have Amanda, who didn't show up on this episode. She was at a wedding or something like that, like a bachelorette, something along those lines. She called in, so we got to like listen to her voice, but she was not present in the house. We also have Brian from Family Karma, who brings Alex from Below Deck. I'm gonna be honest to you guys. I had never seen Below Deck, so there's three people in this show that I have no idea who they are. Actually, four, because um, one of the cast members it's a complete newbie for the franchise, right? Um, yeah, there is a newbie, right, and there is three people from um, Below Deck. So from Below Deck, we have Amalia White. She's from Below Deck Mediterranean season 2, 5, and 6. We have Katie Flood, she's from Below Deck Mediterranean season 6. We also have Alex Propson, who is the guy with the long hair. That guy has no game. I'm sorry. He's really good looking, but his game is like zero. He from Below Deck Sailing Yacht season 4. And then we have a newbie. Her name is Casey Craig. She hasn't been on any show before. She is just an original newcomer for Winter House, right? Obviously, like I mentioned before, we have Kyle from Summer House. We have Amanda from Summer House. We have Jason Cameron from the original, Winter House season 1 and 2. We have Corey, who was in Winter House season 2 and Summer House season 7. We have Danielle, who's from season 2 and to 7 from Summer House. We also have Brian, Benny from Family Karma. And honestly, this cast is working for me a lot. And I'm very excited for this cast because we needed this show to, to be messy from the beginning. Um, Also, we have Tom Swartz from Vanderpump Rules, and funny story. Tom Sandoval was supposed to be part of this cast, but Scandoval exploded a week before they were supposed to go, so he decided not to go. And the Scandoval is part of the first episode. It's like heavily talked about on Winter House season 3 episode 1 because like I mentioned before, the people from Below Deck have no idea what's happening. I guess they just live in a yacht in the middle of nowhere all year round because they have no idea who Tom Schwartz or Tom Sandoval were. Which, by the way, I'm completely fine with that because more people should not know who they are at this point. Like, I'm tired and exhausted of talking about uh Scandal. Like, we need to move on from this. Everybody has moved on. Even Ariana has moved on. She is doing amazing on Dancing with the Star. She is truly the star of the show. Like, no joke. Every week she gets better and better. So if they are moving on with their lives, we should too. Like, stop being so invested on a scandal that happened, what, like 6 months ago, 7 months ago? Like, come on, like, we need to move on. There's all this stuff to talk about. But it's inevitable not to be talked about on this season of Winter House because it happened as they were filming it. So we are kind of going to relieve everything that was a scandal. But I'm happy that Tom Sandoval was not present because we don't need that energy in the house, like Kyle said. Um, but Danielle has been, she's been very, very, very like outspoken about the whole scandal on this episode because she's very close to Katie, right? She's very friendly with Katie. She's very friendly with Ariana. So obviously she is team girls, and she doesn't want to see Tom Swartz or Tom Sandoval in the house. I don't blame her. I mean, what they did to those women is freaking crazy to me. Like, I still trying to process it, right? Um, you know who also is in the house that I'm absolutely in love with, who I love, is Jory from Summer House Martha's Vineyard. She's freaking amazing. She's hysterical, and she is actually part of the drama of the first episode too. Um, this guy Alex made a move on her in the jacuzzi. And like I said before, if you are going to be in a jacuzzi, at least have some game. I mean, Alex fumbled that bag so badly with Jordan, and then we also have Brian Benny going after her, and it's quite embarrassing to watch because, dude, like, how old are you? Why are you guys at like high schoolers? Like, you are 30 plus. Have a little more confidence. I think the sexiest quality that anyone can have is being confident. And both of them are very good looking men. Like, Brian is very good looking. Alex is extremely good looking, but their game is like no game whatsoever, right? Um, I have a problem in this episode with Corey, who honestly I actually really like a lot. Corey, it's dating Sam. It seems like when Winter House was filming, their relationship wasn't like cemented. But if I'm trying to calculate the timeline, and they were together during BravoCon because Summer House was filmed the summer before BravoCon 2022, right? So if they filmed Winter House in, I think it was February of this year, they were already dating. Like, so I'm trying to understand why Corey was being very hesitant to admit to the relationship, right? Um, Handless just sent me a message. He says, I'm looking forward from Amalia and Sam fighting for Corey, who's a fuckboy. I mean, where's the lie? But I do think Corey is in love with Sam. I do think that they do have a very strong relationship. It's just really hard to go on a reality TV show where you have to keep this image of like being like a fuck boy. I mean, because Corey's charm. I mean, it's really weird to say, but Corey's charm, it's his womanizer ways. It's like he's confident. It's like he's overly confident. That is almost cocky, you know? And that is his charm. That's what makes him kind of attractive. That's what make him interesting. But then if we put Corey in a relationship box, he might not be as like I don't know. interesting to watch. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to say that they should not be together because I actually adore Corey and Sam together. They make such a great couple. Sam, it's one of my favorite Summer House cast members ever. Um, she's super sweet, super nice, and I just want her to be happy. And that's why I'm gonna keep my eyes on Corey this season because even though this happened many months ago, I want to see how he talks about his relationship with Sam during this season. If he gets in any trouble with any of the girls, because basically they sometimes they do stuff that are not air until it actually airs. Like you know that that's been filmed, right? You get hot mics moment. You got, you sometimes they have like little spots with no cameras where they hide to like fool around and whatever. So I'm gonna keep my eyes on him. I'm gonna see what he's gonna do. I do think that he probably respects Sam a lot because they still together. So let's see how this season though work for them. One person that I love, love, and it might sound controversial, is Kyle Cook. I love that man because he represents everything I believe in. We are the same age, pretty much. He's 41 and 40, right? We both believe that you can be 40 and still be able to party and still be able to have a social life and still be able to do the things that you want to do, even if you're married. I'm married too, right? So respecting the relationship as also respecting the space between the partners in the relationship to me is important. I can see that they have that because as you guys saw on this episode, Kyle was in the house by himself and Amanda was doing her own thing. And there was a funny comment that Kyle said. He said, like, for a couple of days, I can let my freak flag fly since no one is there to chop it down. And that is my BravoCon motto. That's what I'm going to Vegas like. I'm like, it's gonna be a whole week of me being, able to let my freak flag fly. My freak flag fly. Because husband is staying home. And that's the rule. I mean, I'm in a trip. I'm kind of like able to do what I want. Um, and that's why I like Kyle. Kyle has kept the 100 from the beginning. He knows that he's not perfect. He likes to party. He likes to like go to the summer house and have a good time. And as somebody who lives up north too, like we live in New York City, we understand the consequences of living in a four season state. Our summers are so short that that's the only time that we have to have a really good time to like go crazy, drink every weekend, like do all the stuff that you can do all year round in other states like Florida or like Texas or whatever, where they don't have four seasons. They have a long ass like spring summer vibe all year round, while we are actually dealing with like cold winters and really short falls and very humid summer. So that add that to the fact that you can't even be outside during the summer all the time. You have like some weeks where it's hot but it's nice, and then you have like 2 months of like scorching humid disgusting heat, right? So that's why I always have to explain to people that don't live in these states like the tri-state area, that people think that Kyle is like, oh, he's only out and about in the Hamptons and he's only drinking. I'm like, yeah, that's the summer. That's what we do in the summer. So I'm happy that he's back to the Winter House. I think he's a really, really good part of the glue of the show. You have some people in different shows who are like considered the glue. Like for example, and we're gonna be talking about it in a minute. In Beverly Hills, Kyle Richards has become the glue of the cast. She usually have issue with some people, but she always have been the center of the of like the dynamics, right? uh, especially after Lisa Vanderpump left. Before, Lisa was the center of everything, of the universe. Lisa Vanderpump is the center of the universe. But when Lisa left, um, Kyle became the glue of the cast. And she's been since until even now. Now, even now that she's in trouble and has like drama in her house or whatever, which I still believe that is quite strange, right? Um, are you guys feeling that maybe Kyle Richards and Mauricio are faking this whole thing for ratings or for like a storyline? Because I'm still trying to figure it out where this whole thing came from. Also, like I do not believe that Kyle Richards has a relationship with this woman Morgan. I don't believe it, especially because she has denied it way too many times. She was on Watch What Happened Live, and Andy asked her directly, like, "What's your deal with Morgan? Like, are you guys like together?" And she said, like, "No, we are just really good friends." And she met Morgan at the same time with Teddy, and they made like a group chat and whatever, because they all like work out together in the morning or whatever. I honestly don't think. I'm being honest. I know a lot of people want this whole Morgan thing to be true, but until Kyle herself doesn't come out and say like, "Hey, yes, I'm into Morgan and we are together," I'm gonna still believe that if Mauricio and Kyle had a going like they go into divorce or like they separate, they didn't do that because of Kyle being with a woman. You know, um, I think they do look like they're growing apart. I mean, Lisa Conan just sent a message. She said, "Hi Eddie, I definitely don't think Kyle and Mauricio are making this up. I think they have grown apart, sadly." And it's true. That can be true. That's how I feel. What I mean is like I don't think that the reason behind Kyle and Mauricio having issue is this woman called Morgan. I don't think that's the problem. I don't think that that is the root of the problem. I think they just grew apart. And I mean, that happens to many relationships. That happened to many couples. It's nothing new. It's nothing to be like shocked about. I mean, they've been together for a very long time, since the 90s, right? So it's like over 20 years plus. People change. People change. Relationship change. Um, People change, and in ways that they might not, you know, anticipate it. We change at times, and then we look back and we're like, "Wait a minute, I'm a whole different person," and I didn't even realize that, right? So that's what I think it truly happened. I think they just, you know, they hit the expiration date in their relationship, and that is completely okay. I just don't believe that Kyle Richard is in a relationship with this woman. And like I mentioned before, I am um I am not going to um support the idea of kind of like branding somebody or trying to push them out of the closet like this huge freaking problem. Like that's none of our business. I understand that Kyle has done it in the past to like Denise. And trust me, I drag her ass for that reason for many seasons. I'm not a Kyle fan, but I'm also not a fan of uh, weaponizing sexuality. I'm not a fan of that either. So and I have been very vocal about it with pretty much every single franchise that has done it. Like on Atlanta with Marlo's disgusting behavior towards Drew. Because that last reunion was disgusting to me. The way that Marlo was trying really hard to make Drew feel bad if she was with a woman. Like it's like some kind of sin. Like, oh my gosh, like, oh, you like, and she made a comment during the reunion that really pissed me off. And I'm so happy that I had never been a Marlo fan because I don't know how people can be a fan of that woman. Um, on this season of Beverly Hills, we start with Dorit planning a retreat. I'm so tired of this like spiritual retreat, you guys. I'm like over it. I actually just watched the first 7 minutes of the um Real Housewife of Miami, and I'm just happy that finally they are going to talk about their problems or like try to get together in a social setting like a dinner party. That's what I want. I don't want to see another like sun bath or sound bath or a shaman or Eagle Women. Like I'm not interested. It seems so forced. It's like every single franchise has done it for like the past like 2 years. Like come on, let it go. They don't work. It's not necessary and it's boring. Um, Let me recap who's done it. Miami did it last year when they went to like this like I think it was Fort Lauderdale or somewhere that they had that guy and they were crying by the beach. Uh, Same with Orange County and the Tres Amigas or whatever. Uh, the same thing. This guy and the smoke and all the stuff, and I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ! Like, come on, let's move on from this. We have Beverly Hills now too. We had Atlanta having it twice. They did it twice. They did it in Portugal with a Shiraz thing, and then we had it with Drew in Atlanta. This whole like healing process. I like the healing process bullshit is pissing me off because I believe that it works when you do it on your own terms and when you do it in the privacy of your home, on the privacy of your time. Doing it for camera is the most unauthentic thing that you can ever do. And that has in New York, a new season with a new cast, and they had to bring some kind of weird shaman women to do like a ritual and make them feel stuff. I'm like, come on, what's next? Like, please be a little more creative. There's many other stuff that we can do. So I'm happy the Miami starts their season with a group party, not a group thing to heal the past. Because, oh, I mean, if Dorit wants to do it for her own personal growth, after being like robbed in her house and robbed again, and then she had to take money out of her bank account, like what, like $10,000 or something, to shop for gift, and somebody stole her bag. I'm like, who needs $10,000 in cash to buy gift? There's something called debit card or credit card where you put stuff on it and then you pay it in the safety of your house. You don't have to carry around hundreds or thousands or whatever amount of dollars in cash. Doesn't make any sense. And weren't Dorit complaining about financial issues like for like 3 seasons? And now she has like this money and they just got robbed recently again. And she got robbed again when she took that money out. I'm like, Dorit, like, come on. Like, at this point, you are just trying to get people to rob you like in purposes. Like, come on. Like, come on. Like, let's do better. Let's do much better because that is not okay. But um, surprisingly, the MVP of the first episode was Dorit. Who would have thought that Dorit Kensley was going to be the person who delivered the most on the first episode? Uh, First of all, she was not letting PK, breathe. She was apologizing for him, and then she went on her confessional saying that, I mean, PK has a habit of putting his foot right in his mouth, um, and not just put it in his mouth, but jamming it down his throat. I mean, come on. I mean, Dree was delivering confessional magic. And they went to this retreat, right? They went to this retreat, and then Erica Jane was telling them that she lost weight because hormones. And then Dorit on her confessional, she said like hormones, air quotes, and she said like, is hormones spells Ozempic? Ozempic? I mean, that was fucking genius. Dorit was not letting Erica Jane breathe on her confessionals. And then they were having their like, moment of like talking their issues, and they were all sharing why and how they were feeling. Kyle shared that she was feeling some kind of way against Sutton because Sutton was becoming really close to Kyle and to Kathy during a time where Kathy and Kyle were having issues. And if you ask me, I would rather be friend with Kathy than with Kyle because Kyle seems to be a friend that is difficult to have. I mean, all the complaining and always trying to produce with your friendship or throw you under the bus. I'm like, no, I would rather be friend with Kathy and eat baked potato with caviar. Like, come on. But there was a moment where Dorit had an opportunity to talk to Erica, and it was all about the BravoCon incident where Erica Jane literally said that Dorit and Piquet were going to Splitville. Obviously, Dorit did not like that. And Erica said that she said that because she is a showman and she just gave the audience what they wanted. To what Dorit replied saying, standing up, going to the center to the stage, delivering the lines, flipping her hair, and coming back and feeling very good about herself. That's not a showman. That's a bitch. And that freaking confessional, it's iconic. It was so good. It's not just the word, it's the delivery. When she said delivering the lines with like Erica Jane's nasal voice, I freaking died. I'm like, I haven't been a Dorit fan since season 7 when she was dragging Erica and she was dragging Lisa Renna. Remember that moment when Lisa Renna was like walking really close to her at the season finale party, and Dorit said like, if I can smell your breath, you are too close to me, Lisa Renna. I mean, that Dorit was on fire. So I'm happy that at least we get a glimpse of that Dorit back on this confessional. I'm telling you, that delivery, standing up, going to the center of the stage, delivering the lines, and then flipping her hair, coming back and feeling very good about herself. That's not a showman. That's a bitch. I am freaking in love with that line. I'm telling you, I was surprised to see that Dorit was in fact the one that delivered the most on the first episode of Beverly Hills. There was also a moment where Erica kind of apologized with everybody for the way that she was acting, and it took her 3 seasons for her to have a little sense of humanity for like a second. Let's not believe everything that she's saying, but at least I can tell that there's a sense of like, okay, I fucked up. I'm gonna try to make it right. Right? One thing that I am still annoyed by is the fact that Kyle still believe that the reason that she is in a really weird spot with her friends is because Kathy said something instead of pointing out that her so-called friends were the ones, destroying her family and coming after her family. Garcelle said it really good, and I'm happy that somebody said it because I've been saying this for a very long time. Kyle Richards tends to side with the people that are coming for her family. And we've seen it happening many times. Remember when she sided with Lisa Rinna when Lisa Rinna was trying to destroy Kim Richards and uh, talking about her sobriety and alcohol and all this stuff? I mean, that was Lisa Rinna's, big thing. And still Kyle sided with her. And last season, she was pretty much saying that Kathy was the guilty one, right? Um, and Garcelle said it. She said to Kyle, I felt for you, but I was also confused by you because I thought you're not going to the people that are coming for your family. And that's true. That's 100% the truth. I I was shocked that even at this point during the season that they were filming, right? She felt like Kathy destroyed her friendship or put her in a very awkward position with her friends when those friends, Erica and Lisa Rena, were the one going after Kathy and going after Kyle told them to stop talking about Kathy. And they showed the flashback. I'm happy the production it's doing a good job at keeping them accountable from the action of either themselves or the people around them to make sure that the stories line up. Because if they didn't do that, people will be like, yeah, Kyle, poor Kyle. No, poor Kyle, nothing. Kyle is the one that always sides with the people who are coming after her family. Period. Right? Sutton is also having a great start of the season. We saw her talking about the fact that she got a horse, and even the horse is part of her tagline. Which, by the way, I like the taglines. I'm okay with them. I'm not a fan of Emery whatsoever. I'm not a fan of her tagline. I think it's boring. I also do not want to get to know her because what I know about her is enough for me to not wanting to get to know her. She is somebody who is married to a extremely outspoken transphobic person. And I'm not going to support that. The fact that she's okay with his opinions, the fact that she has, been very vocal about some controversial topics that target the LGBTQIA community, I'm not going to tolerate that. And basically, my understanding is that Crystal will have a few words with her down the line, right? But back to Sutton. Sutton had Jennifer Tilly on, uh, over for dinner, and we are introduced to what it seems like the housekeeper of, Sutton, this guy. Um, really funny. I'm just happy that they had this conversation about Sutton's divorce papers and the divorce settlement and where the money's coming from because people had this really weird idea. People, before you talk nonsense, do your fucking research. For those who are trying to come for Sutton because Sutton got money on the settlement of her divorce, like lots of fucking money. I'm talking about money on top of money. She gets 300,000 as an allowance a month, plus $1.5 million in cash, plus properties like in Venice, in Augusta, and also in Beverly Hills. So I mean, she got it good. But what people forget is that when Sutton married this guy, they didn't have this money. She worked with him to build this empire that she didn't even know they had. She found that out because she got a financial forensic person to study their couple's finances, and she found out that she owned a freaking baseball team, right? So people, stop being fucking ignorant. Just because you don't like Sutton, you cannot take away the fact that she worked with her husband to build this, financial stability that she is in right now. Also, she married her high school sweetheart. She didn't just met this guy at a random bar and they got married, or like it's like Erica Jane met fucking Tom Girardi. Erica Jane was a freaking waitress at a high end restaurant slash bar. That's how she met Tom Girardi, an already old man that had money. So it's not the same situation. When people try to compare Erica Jane to Sutton, when it comes to like uh, financial divorce and all the stuff, And like you might be a little dumb. You might be a little stupid because if you don't understand the difference between marrying your high school sweetheart and build your fortune together to a woman who met this old man at a restaurant where she was waitressing, then I don't know what to say. I might say go back to like pre-K and start reading and start studying the alphabet. Maybe you need a little of that. Um, but I'm just happy that Sutton made sure to mention that because I'm pretty sure she has been dealing with the trolls on the internet trying to take away her accomplishment and the fact that she's still very much wealthier than everybody else on the show except by Kyle Richards, right? Um, it was also very interesting to see a scene between Kyle and Dorit where they're talking about, you know, um, issues in a relationship and how they were feeling in different ways or how they were growing apart. And I'm thinking to myself, like, it's kind of crazy how these two girls are talking about this, and both of them are currently allegedly separating their significant others. Um, Garcelle had a very raw scene on this episode. It was very real and pretty much I can relate to like a lot. Um, Garcelle took her kids to the beach and they were talking about how she was pretty much away for 3 weeks and it felt like a year for them, right? One of them was saying that he wanted to move to his dad's uh, because he didn't see her as much anymore or she wasn't around and uh Garcelle wants to be a parent regardless, but what kids don't understand is like sometimes parents have to be away to be able to provide. Like I share on my Twitter, I connect to this in so many levels. I understand what Garcelle is saying because my mother kind of and I kind of went through the same process, right? um, w- when she had me, she went back to work pretty much like 2 weeks later. She was running her law firm, right? Um, and she was pretty much in love with her career. So as soon as like she was like able to go back to work, she went back to work. And I had two nannies taking care of me. And I had my grandma be more present in my life than my mother. But that doesn't mean that my mother did not love me. My mother was making sure that I was okay, that I had no financial problems, that I had everything I wanted. And that I did. I had everything I wanted. And sometimes too much. And sometimes that created like a little of like a bratty mentality in my teenagers. And that's why I also retaliate and rebel when I became a teenager, like Garcelle's sons are doing. Like one of them is, you know, feeling in some kind of way against Garcelle because he hasn't been present for 3 weeks. And by the way, 3 weeks is not a year. I know he's like, oh, 3 weeks, it feels like a year. Like, no, that is not even close. That's not even a month. And if you can be by yourself for a month, dude, like, I'm like, come on. Um, but that's an example of how many people feel when parents have to work. I mean, that's a pretty common sentiment, especially when you are a teenager, when you are trying to find yourself, when you are trying to uh, figure out what's your position in society. You look back and you try to blame everybody else around you for things that you are feeling. So I do think that the Garcelle son is projecting um, his own teenage rebellion on her because that's what teenage people do. One thing that I can't stand, one thing that I'm like over with though is freaking John Mellencamp's daughter. Like, why is she even invited to watch what happened live? Why is she still around? I thought she said that she was gonna go away and never talk about Beverly Hills as soon as she was fired. And here we are 3 years later and she's still talking. Like, shut up. It's just so annoying. And you know what's the funniest part? Is the fact that she think that she's doing something or being funny by trying to reply with sassy comments that is not even sassy or funny, right? So instead it's like really freaking like annoying. Andy, you can tell that Andy was annoyed with her. Andy was not having it. And there was a moment when Andy asked John Mellencamp's daughter a question about um, Sutton mentioning that the only time that she heard about any rumor about Dorit's and PK's relationship was when PK had a DUI and allegedly he or he might not be alone that night. He might have a woman in the car or he might not. Um, and then somehow John Mellencamp's daughter, instead of answering the question, she went ahead and started saying that Sutton has a drinking problem and she has like alcohol in her bag all the time. I'm like, that's actually very rich to kind of come for somebody's vice and habits when um when she has been accused of forcing people not to eat. Like that is not like the high horse that she lives on. I'm like, girl, you need to like come down from your high horse and your like moral ground that are like really high. Because if you are accusing someone from being alcoholic, that's nowhere near as bad as you know, forcing people to have eating disorders. That's what it is. And just because you eat an ice cube every morning for breakfast and for dinner at night, that doesn't make you this accountability fitness guru. That just make you a problematic person. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the people who you force not to eat before you talk about something wanting to have a cocktail or two here and there. So please take several seats. Um, Kyle also revealed that she was the one who originated the separation. When Andy asked many tough questions to Kyle, and I'm actually quite impressed that Kyle decided to answer all of them. That's why I'm still kind of like, is this planned? I don't know. Let's see how that goes. He also mentioned to her the picture of Mauricio and his partner from Dancing with the Star walking around Beverly Hills holding hands as they go into like practice. She revealed that that was the reason why she deleted all her support for Mauricio off her Instagram. But she also mentioned that she voted for Mauricio and screenshot the text and send it to a group chat with her daughters. So I mean, allegedly she still support Mauricio, but not publicly because he hurt her feelings. But at the same time, I'm like, you can be that mad with Mauricio when you literally agree to be on a music video with your friend Morgan and act all like cheeky and sexy and stuff like that. So, um, yeah, I don't buy it. I'm still not buying it. This is like crazy. Um, Funny part is at the end of Watch What Happened Live, Sutton decided to clap back at John Mellencamp's daughter. Um, Sutton posted on Twitter saying, "The word of the night on Bravo Watch What Happened Live should have been Sutton with a kitty cat emoji and three hearts and two martinis emojis." That's funny. And the reason why she posted that was because freaking John Mellencamp's daughter couldn't just keep her name off her mouth. Literally every 5 seconds, she brought up Sutton. And the sad part is like the more that she mentions Sutton, the more desperate she looks because it shows that she hasn't recovered from the time that Sutton called her boring and made her cry and stole her diamond. That's what it is. John Mellencamp's daughter is mad at Sutton because Sutton replaced her. Her boring ass. Like Jesus. Like ugh, I still can't stand it. I can't stand her. I can't stand John Mellencamp's daughter. She needs to go. And Bravo needs to stop trying to push her down our throat. She's not that funny. Ooh. We also got the tagline for Potomac, and I'm excited for it. It starts next week. And like I mentioned before, next week I'll be at BravoCon, and tonight, this episode marks the end of MarTEAnis with Eddy season one. Um, I want to take this last few minutes just to thank every single person who has always showed up on my lives, like Aaron, Hen Liz, Lisa Conan, uh, many more people who always show up to my life and send questions and send comments. You guys push me to always be here and make sure that I bring you guys all the tea. You guys keep me motivated and consistent. So this wouldn't be happening without you guys. The support of all my friends and fans and uh, you know besties from the Bravo universe. As promised, I'll make sure to bring all the tea from BravoCon. I had so many plans, you guys. I have way too many plans. Today I scored a photo op. I'm not a big fan of the photo ops at BravoCon because I always feel like I'm missing out of other stuff that are happening because waiting in line for a photo and stuff like that, that's not my thing. I would rather just talk to Bravo Labs as they walk down the convention center, Bravo Palooza, or at the Bravos, or Bravo After Dark, or just talking to them down the street. Like sometimes you find them just walking around, and that's how the best way to actually communicate and make like connection with them, right? These photo ops take such a long time during BravoCon that I decided I'm gonna just do once maybe a day. And today I score Sutton, Lisa Hashtin, and Monica Garcia's photo op. It seems like they all three are going to be at the same time to make things quicker. Um, Tomorrow, I'm gonna try to get um, maybe Summer House or yeah, I think I'm gonna do that or Vanderpump Rules. Um, So I'm excited. I'm excited for BravoCon. I'm excited for the after parties, you guys. That's where the crazy shit truly happen. That's when you actually get to talk to them in a fun environment that doesn't feel like work. Because like I always tell you guys, Bravo Labs are working during BravoCon. Bravo Labs are working at the convention center. So you are going to get Bravo Labs in work mode. But when you see them out and about or at the after party, that's more like the laid back, being themselves moment, and that's like the best part of the weekend. Also, if you are going to be at BravoCon in Vegas and you see me walking around, running around the convention center, or running to my seat during the Watch What Happen lives, you can always say hello. Don't be afraid. I don't bite. Um, unless you have come for me and I know who you are, I might I might go from zero to Jersey because I have no problem calling out a bitch. Um, but yeah, make sure that if you are in Vegas and you want to say hello, please say hello. Um, I'm gonna try my best to go on Instagram Live or Twitter Spaces to chat in between panels, or if I run into a Bravo Lab just to ask questions and I can live stream it. So keep an eye on all my platforms because BravoCon content is going to be on fire on my social medias. Trust me, you are not gonna miss it. You are not gonna wanna like not subscribe to my platforms because the content is going to be out of this world. I promise you that. And like I mentioned before, I am closing season one tonight, and I'll be back the week after BravoCon with all the tea. We will talk about everything BravoCon, And obviously, we're gonna be recapping the newest episode of all the shows that are airing, like Beverly Hills, Winter House, Salt Lake City, um, Southern Charm. Potomac will be back by then. Uh, yes, we are gonna have a very busy fall and winter with Bravo, and I'm very excited. And any news and anything that is Bravo related, you can always find it on my platforms, MarTEAnis with Eddy, either Twitter, which is my most popular platform, or Instagram. Also, you can find me on TikTok, my website, MarTEAnis with Eddy. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe to my podcast. And very important, if you are enjoying my podcast, please, 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 the best way for you to help this little content creator to survive the seal content creators is by simply rating my podcast. In whatever platform you listen to, just leave a 5 star or a 4 star or whatever you want to leave. But make sure you rate it. I truly appreciate it. So you guys, a whole year of MarTEAnis with Eddy. A whole year of MarTEAnis with Eddy. Tonight, tonight ends season one. And we will be back in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Um, with everything BravoCon to kick start season two. A season is gonna be bigger and better than season one, I promise. And season one was huge. I mean, I had Jennifer Aiden on my podcast with Teresa Judice on the phone. That to me was freaking incredible. And as a fan, I was blown away. Also, having Sam, having Lucia from Southern Hospitality, John Barlow from Salt Lake City. I had my girl, who I love, Bali from Family Karma. My girl, I love her so much. Um, and many more people. I mean, it's crazy. Okay, you guys, and once again, this wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for you who stood by me all this year. And still one more Bravo content creation from me, and I appreciate that. And I will not let you down. And like I always say, besties, stay with me. We're closing season one, but season two will be back in 2 weeks, bigger than better. Stay with me. Bye, besties.